So, welcome to our knitting space. If you are a returning listener, then thanks for coming back. I am certainly not apparently coherent. It's a pretty day today. If you're a new listener, welcome. Join in on the conversation, grab a cup of tea, and let's go. This week we're hoping to cover...
In a not at all concise manner, because we never do.
Oh, it never works out as well as I planned. What's in our cup? Cool threads. The new Woolly Workings, the new title for our current projects. The Yarn on the Go. The Theoretical Spinning, which at some point when it becomes actual spinning will need a title. Events, and a book review.
Oh, and fiber flub.
Oh, fiber flubs.
I have a minor flub.
Fiber flub is on the list. All right, so why don't we start with what's in our cup? What are you drinking? For I am drinking apology tea.
Yes, I was a solid hour late getting here, so I brought apology tea.
Which, you know, it happens. I've missed the bus by a minute too. There's really not much you can do about it. The bus is not beholden to you to stop for you, so...
But I was dressed so fancy and everything, it should have just seen me and gone, whoa, and stopped for me.
You know, I think a lot of people think that way. I am pretty positive that's not how that works.
But I was dressed so fancy.
You were dressed very fancy, and I appreciate apology tea, so no offense here, for I received apology tea.
Fancy in this case here means I was wearing an ankle-length wool cloak. Yeah, very fancy today.
Hey, it works. It's the right kind of weather for it outside. We're, 1 degree above zero right now?
It is perfect.
Yes.
It's so perfect.
Yep, when we're not snowing. Much to
Yes.
everyone's disgust earlier this week.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
What was that yesterday?
And I was like, oh, hey.
Anyway, back to drinking. I had been drinking before I missed the bus. I finally got myself a French press, so I had been drinking Nabob Guatemala medium roast that I made myself, and I did a very poor job of it, so I replaced it with a cappuccino from Little Sister after I missed the bus.
Just fine. It's a thing that happens. I am having my, as mentioned before, apology tea, which happens to be Tiavana's Passion Fruit Tango. Not my all-time favorite tea from Tiavana, but one of my favorite teas from it, which happen to be attached to Starbucks here. So, I am currently drinking that. So you will hear ice dance around a little bit here because there's ice in my cup. So, as I shake my cup and make a bunch of noise, because I'm that kind of a person. Alright, my dear, we've got some cool threads going on. You said your mom was wearing other fingerless gloves this week?
Yeah, so I went out and visited my parents in ye olden tiny town. Ye town of 4,000 people and 8 churches.
I keep forgetting there's that many churches in Stonewall.
That's not counting the church-run schools.
Oh, I keep forgetting there's that many churches.
Anyway, so it was really nice that night, and we had a bonfire, and my mom was wearing some fingerless gloves that I'd forgotten that I made. I think they were my first pair of fingerless gloves that I ever made, and I actually remember a bit about them. I don't have a Ravelry project, because it was before I knew about Ravelry, but they were knit flat and seamed.
Ooh, my.
Where you just leave a hole for the thumb hole.
Okay.
So you just leave a hole in the seam. And they were knit out of primarily acrylic yarn, but there was some alpaca mixed in, so they have a fuzziness to them.
Oh, cute.
But they're machine washer dryer friendly.
You know, there's nothing wrong with machine washer dryer safe stuff.
Not a thing. So there's a pair of those kicking around for, I don't even know how many years. They're old.
My niece wore her rainbow scarf out to lunch with her Gigi, my grandmother, her grandmother, my mother, myself, and my sisters. So there were 4 generations of Douglas women out for lunch earlier this week. So
That's cute.
she wore that. I was not wearing any of my cool threads because all of my cool threads were quite heavy. Although now we have a new addition that I will talk about in a few moments that I can wear in this weather. I don't need a cowl meant for -40. I don't need mittens meant for -20.
When it's, only -1?
When it's only -1. That's
Yeah.
too warm. So,
I have some more cool threads.
absolutely, go for it.
During my visit, my mom was also wearing her bamboo socks, which is just a vanilla sock pattern that I kind of pieced together with using German short row toes and heels, with a contrasting toe, cuff, and heel color. And she was also wearing her much nicer pair of fingerless gloves that I knit her for her birthday a year or two ago. They are Susie Rogers reading mitts, knit out of a Diamond Luxury Mulberry Silk and Merino blend.
Okay.
It is a loosely spun single ply, so they pill rather more than I would like, but if you just keep on top of that with a delintifying thing, then they're gorgeous. They have this beautiful sheen, and the stitch definition is impressive, and it was my first turned hem that I did.
Ooh.
It's a turned picot hem, so I'm still super proud of those, and she really likes them. She wears them all winter underneath her other gloves.
Oh, God. I like that your mom's a good gift receiver.
She is super knitworthy. Her and my brother are super knitworthy.
Super. My niece
I
loves...
knit them at least one or two things every year.
My niece loves getting stuff for me. I've gotten to the point now where she just brings me a skein of yarn and says, we need to make a thing. And it's super elaborate. She draws me diagrams. I'm like, whoa, hey, we buy the rest of the yarn for it first, kid.
Yes.
Before we get too into detail here.
Yeah. Don't ever introduce her to, what's something really expensive? Cashmere and, what's the rabbit one called? Angora.
Oh, see, no, Cashmere and Angora are strictly a anti-Jocelyn phenomenon right now, and will remain an anti-Jocelyn phenomenon until we are slightly out of the kid phase. For ease of purposes and the fact that today she came home with 5 new bandages on her arms, because, like her aunt, she's incredibly graceful, and the picture of humility as she probably went well over butt over end into something today, came home with a new band-aids and new scars and new stories about things attacking her. Apparently it was the rocks today. I did childhood the same way, so until further notice, and we've kind of slowed down our visits to the emergency room or the volume of band-aids we currently have to buy for the house. She's going to stick to acrylics for now, because I need to be able to wash it hardcore sometimes.
Yeah.
But once we're past that phase, which is about late teen years, I will start knitting natural fibers for her, because they don't seem to bug her, so.
That's good.
They bug my sister and my mom, so they will stay acrylic, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple more threads.
Oh my god, keep going, Matt.
I'm wearing so much stuff. I wore my Lindsay Slouch and my Rainbow Side shawl to the yarn tasting that we'll talk more about later. But I was feeling super cool because I rode my longboard, so I'm rocking the knitwear, rolling up on the longboard to the knitting shop.
Occur to me that you wore your knitwear. I saw it and I registered that you were wearing it. And it didn't occur to me that you would have been longboarding down the side of the street.
Oh yeah, like I didn't even notice, like halfway through the ride, one of the corners of my shawl came off and was like flapping dramatically in the breeze behind me, and I didn't even notice. So like, I have no idea what I looked like. Just rolling up to the knit shop with my
longboard,
my tribal print longboard. Like, yo, I'm here to taste some yarn, y'all.
The more I think about it, the more of a what photo that would have been for people on the side of the street who don't know you. You have those moments where you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What's going on here, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been excellent. My driver, who's like an uncle to me in the family, because I obviously wasn't longboarding or riding the bus yet. I'm not that healthy. I'm healthy. I'm not that healthy yet. We're working on it. Was like, he saw you longboarding up, and he's like, if I hadn't been warned in advance that she was doing this, I would have been mildly confused. Ah, goodness.
It's faster to longboard than take the bus.
This is totally true. I'll do a quick 1-minute health update. Doctor's appointment 3 or 4 is done with, so we are almost into the primary healing stage and into the secondary healing stage, which is really good. It was not a minor surgery that I had, so this is a really good cause for hope and jubilation, because it means I might be able to start going out and doing things shortly, which I am very keen on having happen. Not that I don't love my house. Not that I don't love my housemates. Might get some extra ambient noise this week from my niece, as she is, I live in the basement apartment suite, and my niece's bedroom is right above mine, and she's got the free go when I'm babysitting to play on her video games after school, so if I'm busy doing stuff, so we might hear her computer chair rolling around a little bit. Sorry in advance. It's just how the ambient noise goes. But I am doing well. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy with my progress, except for me, because I think it's going too slow. So we're good.
Well, as you mentioned, it was not a minor surgery.
It's not a minor surgery. It's a pretty big surgery. I stayed in the hospital for a couple of days. So
you don't just leap up and go after that surgery.
No matter how much I would like to. So that's a thing. What's going on?
Jocelyn is winding yarn for the people that cannot see and was wondering why, what's going on is happening.
That's right. Blind ladies winding yarn. This is always interesting for me. I'll also make the other apology that spring is finally starting to make its way to Manitoba permanently, I think. Or at the very least, a little more permanently than haphazardly. We are now almost into May, so we're just a little behind schedule. This is a fairly normal weather spout for us. So my sinuses and allergies are about to go into full swing. We do have medication, but that doesn't guarantee you won't hear a couple extra vocal cord changes and some sniffling. I apologize in advance. My nose and plants don't get along very well, and I garden. I know, I'm crazy.
So those plants sitting in your window are doing wonders for...
Oh yeah, they're super helping. My niece is growing plants for her Girl Guides badge.
Super helpful.
Oh yeah, it's the best window well in the house, so I totally understand why we're using it.
Shall we go on to some woolly workings?
Absolutely. So as mentioned at the top, the Woolly Workings is the new name for the PhD work sections, or the what we're currently working on projects, our projects in progress, if you will. What have you been working on?
I have been falling less behind with the 365 granny squares.
Woohoo!
I have done... There's 2 sitting on my desk right now that I finished, but I feel like I had 1 or 2 more done and I've taken pictures and I put them away. But I can't quite remember.
Oh, I have so many pictures to take, it's not even funny. I have an entire big brown bag full of ones I have to take photos of.
I try not to get it more than a stack of 10 or so that I have to take pictures of, because if it gets any more than that, I know I'll just never do it.
I suspect there'll be one day where I just sit there and just take photos for a good chunk of the day, which is totally fine. I'll pick a nice sunny day, and it'll be my make work project while I'm waiting on laundry or something, or listening to some podcasts, so that's totally fine. I have, as always, been working on my 365-day project. I am currently, about 3 days behind right now, so I'm almost fully caught up since the surgery, so I should
a lot
be
better than me.
Caught up at the end of this week. I also wasn't super far behind, which helps a bunch. I had less catching up to do, as it were, so it's not nearly as big of a project for me. Like, it's a pretty big project for you to catch up, so I have the finished item.
Yes, finished.
Super finished. The coffee shawl shop is done. Tassels included. We have been washed, blocked, woven in of our ends. And we'll have our first outing tomorrow, because I am going out tomorrow to talk to some school kids about my vision loss. So we will be doing that tomorrow. And Diana now has it draped on her head. It is done in the Bernay tweeds in a brown tweed, so it's very much a babushka at the moment. There's no way around that. Not in that color.
Here's my phone, I'll take a stupid picture.
So, that just happened. I really enjoyed doing it. I did it on the Nova Vista needles, which is a Knitter's Pride line. It is my favorite brand of knitting needles because they are very sharp and aluminum. And very much a wonderful, wonderful contrast. I want to say that again. They have a wonderful contrast in the needles, and they are beautifully pointy without being super pointy. So they work really well to help sort of speed your knitting along. It's a easy pattern. Bye, she says questioningly as she goes for different papers. Alexandra Travail. I am highly tempted to make another one.
So nice.
It is very nice, and it's very squishy, and it's just, yeah, I'm thinking that's very quickly going to be something I might take a look at making in another yarn, because it's just really wonderful. What else have you been working on?
I worked on my socks, of course. They just come everywhere, and talk about those more on Yarn on the Go. They had some adventures.
Adventures, yay!
Yes.
And that's that pattern you sort of hobbed together from 3 different YouTube videos?
Yeah, it's...
With the fish lips kiss heel?
It's fish lips kiss heel. So I started with Judy's Magic Cast On. Jenny's Magic Cast On? No, it's Jenny's Super Stretchy Bind Off, Judy's Magic Cast On, standard toe where you just do your increases at each end every other row, and then roundy vanilla sock pattern in a self-striping yarn. That's it's a sock yarn, so it's wool and nylon in whatever proportions are normal for sock yarn.
I think 80-20.
Something like that, yeah.
I think it's 80% wool, 20% nylon for...
I think this one might be 85-15.
Oh, that's not
It's
too bad.
like woolen sockin or something. It's Dutch or German.
Woolen sockin.
It's like woolen sockin in forest color or something.
Oh, jeez.
Something like that.
Okay.
It's
That's
brown.
fair.
It's brown self-striping. It's the one that I keep taking pictures of with coffee because it's the project that fits nicely next to coffee.
Oh, my shawl went traveling in its almost completed finished shape when it was not purse size. I was so determined to finish it, it went with me everywhere last week because it was getting done.
Like, got done.
Yes, so. I also finished another thing. I just finished our grandmother's favorite dishcloth patterns. It's not a complicated dishcloth pattern. Red was like, why did you put the extra fancy space in it? Because I have a yarn over for my increases. So I was like, you mean the yarn over for increasing?
It makes it look fancy.
It does. It's not. It's literally knitting both sides with a yarn over to increase till you hit so many stitches, and then knitting two together, yarning over, knitting two together for all your decreases till you get back to your original cast on number, and then casting off. That's all it is. It's an incredibly vanilla. That should be my purse knitting is what it should be because it's really
lovely.
easy.
I like how the stripes lined up too, so you just have the one green one right down the middle.
Yeah.
That's a really good looking dishcloth.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous.
So I gotta make some more because that now makes like 2 dishcloths that I own. So I need to make some backups. So I'm not left in a one dishcloth only sort of situation again.
If you find you end up with too many dishcloths, I
What?
would also like dishcloths.
You'd take some dishcloths.
I would take
for
some
me?
dishcloths if you happen to wind up with too many at some point.
You rescue me enough with my yarn. I think that's definitely a possibility. I can probably knit you a dishcloth. She says as she's making more of a mess with yet more yarn. So I'm really gifted at this. Because I was so focused on the shawl, I didn't actually get 50 million other projects done. I kind of stuck to just a few. So I did some more work on my Boneyard Shawl by Stephen West, again done in the Bernay, mostly because
Okay, there you
I don't want thank you. I don't want anybody to be have an attack or anything. So I did another one. So I got another section of 12 done. So I have made progress on it. It is my just before bed knitting right now because there's not a lot of thinking to it. I didn't do a make one increase. I did a yarn over increase. So I can actually almost literally knit it in the dark because there's very little thinking involved. So that works for me. What else have you been working on, Diana?
I have been continuing work on my bell rose shawl. I'm attempting to get a bell done each day because the next... so the bell rose shawl is it's the first shipment of the Strickmich 2017 club, wherein you get yarn from a German indie dyer and a pattern from Martina Baim, and I like basically all of her things.
It's kind of hard not to basically like all of her things.
It's simple but so pretty, and you do a thing, there's inevitably something about it where you're like, oh, I would never have thought of doing it that way, but that makes a really interesting thing.
Yep.
So for this one, it's little short row mesh bells, so it's going to be a very lovely little fluttery shawlette, I think is the appropriate term.
I think it's going to be really pretty, is what I think.
So it's in a silk merino blend.
I really think we need to order some of that yarn.
I believe the maker is Sheep en Soie.
It's such a nice yarn.
In the colorway Remembering Rose.
There we go. I was like, I knew it was some sort of country rose color.
Something about rose, yeah. No, I believe it's Remembering Rose.
Okay, awesome.
That's continuing progress. I'm trying to get it done by the end of May, because that's when the next shipment comes. So we'll see how that goes. I still have like 10 bells, and then a couple of the really big bells at the end.
You're under a production line quota now? You got stuff you got to get done?
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. I have done a little bit of work, stressed the little, like 2 rows of the fingerless mitts I am working on. I forget the name of the yarn, but we can link that in the show notes. I got it from the local yarn shop, one of the local yarn shops. And it's a Happy Hands Fingerless Mitts by Jennifer V. She writes the Craft Patch blog. So it's another free pattern with a broken rib knit as its beginning, and then a straight stockinette stitch and a thumb gusset. So it's really not a complicated pattern, but it is quite wonderful in the variegated yarn I've got going on, which I say blacks and cream colored.
They're gonna look really nice wrapped around a mug of coffee.
Yes.
Or tea.
I agree. Coffee and or tea, yes. Possibly both in the same day. Coffee, one day you and I will be best of buds again. I promise. What else have I been working on? I don't know. That's it. I'm used to this massive list because
I have
coffee
a couple
shop
more
shop.
things.
Oh my god, go for it.
Small things. I wound some yarn that I bought at the yarn tasting, which was not yarn that we tasted, but I bought it anyway because I really liked the Distinction Shawl, of which they had a sample hanging on the wall. You're tying a knot in your yarn.
I am.
Yeah, so I bought yarn for the Distinction Shawl. That is Malabrigo Mecca. So it's a bulky single ply tonal. I have like a red-black tonal and shades of dark gray tonal, as well as, I'm gonna call this one like hand painted because it's like pinks and purples and almost getting into blues and greens.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
So the Distinction Shawl, the yarn for that got wound. I haven't actually cast it on, but the yarn is wound and ready to go.
Hey, it took a while. You're doing that during Knit Club this week.
Yes, 2 cakes by hand. And I still haven't wound the 3rd cake, but I don't need it for a while. So it's not going to get wound for a while.
I was plowing through the coffee shop shawl at Knit Club, and Red was working on her Christmas skirt.
Christmas skirt that I'm...
Her Christmas tree skirt.
Yes.
She's not knitting a skirt. She's knitting a skirt for her tree, which is looking really good.
It's looking so good. I'm
super happy for
her. So impressed. I'm so impressed that she can do charts at Knit Club. I cannot do charts at Knit Club.
I probably could if I had a chart that wasn't super complicated, but a lot of the stuff I have I've just memorized because they're easy row repeat patterns, so I just memorize the pattern and do it that way.
Yeah.
Which works. But that was it. I have no other workings right now. 'Cause again, it's been all about that shawl. I've wanted to have it finished.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
I washed and blocked my wedding shawl swatch.
Woohoo!
And it is the right size. So I can actually properly start my wedding shawl now.
Woohoo!
I may have worn my swatch as a hair decoration briefly this morning. Because I've been doing this hair challenge, 30 days of hairstyle, hashtag 30 days of hairstyles on Instagram. Something one of my favorite YouTubers is doing. So I have
probably tell people why you're doing this specific hair challenge. They don't know how long your hair is.
Oh yeah, so I have like thigh length hair, like top of my thigh.
It is past your posterior.
Yes, the person next to me can sit on my hair.
Yes, I can. I think I have.
People have. This is why I rarely wear it down, because then I'm on the bus or whatever, and somebody sits down next to me. It's like, oh, you got to get off my hair, please.
I don't mean to.
Anyway, she's been doing this. Every April she does the Vita or vlog every day in April.
Yeah.
So this year
Bye, Mom.
This year she decided to start hashtag 30 days of hairstyles, wherein so she does hair tutorials. She also has very long hair. This is all very jumbled and out of order. Anyway, end result, I'm doing a different hairstyle for my very long hair every day in April. Today's hair, as we come back around to the point of this story, is Ren Fair hair. And so I thought it would be fun to put my lacy shawl swatch as a hair decoration in my Ren Fair hair briefly this morning.
Oh, why not?
It did not stay there all day, mostly because I haven't woven in the ends on the little swatch, so it looks really kind of messy.
On the bright side, if you don't need to use that swatch and your yardage is good, we can turn it into your hair accessory pretty easily for you. I know how to do that.
Could. Totally could, actually. I just stuck 3 pins in it and, like, pinned it to my braid.
Oh, I know how to turn them into headbands and things. I know how to do that.
So.
Random skill sets.
Honestly, just sticking some pins in it and pinning it in my hair looks kind of cool. So I might weave in the ends and it might become a hair toy. It just looks kind of cool in my hair.
Why not? You have really nice hair. It's very long, but you have really nice hair. I will one day have hair that is past my shoulder blades again. I chopped it all off just over a year ago. And I'm currently slowly growing it back out. Because it was electric blue 2 years ago.
Is that 2 years ago already?
Almost. It'll be 2 years this coming C4.
Wow.
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it? Crazy.
Okay. So that's everything we've been working on.
That's everything we've been working on, plus a visit from my mom and my sister.
Plus interruptions.
It happens.
Yarn on the go. I was going places. Did you go some places?
I've done a couple of things. My biggest thing was the doctor's appointment. That I never actually get a chance to knit at my doctor's office. She just tells you how good my doctor is. Even if she's behind, it's a maximum a 10-minute wait, and then I'm in to see her. So I'm in and out pretty quickly. So I took my knitting just in case for some reason the universe went sideways and that was wrong, but I never actually got to do it. I did, however, get to go out with my mom and my sister. We had to go to shopping to buy some more kids' clothes because the kid needed some clothes, and I needed to go to the library to get some books. So I took my coffee shop shawl because I have to rest a lot, and spent a lot of time knitting in the parking lot in the car on the coffee shop shawl. It was a beautiful day outside. It was a day where it was like 16 degrees above zero, and we had a nice wind, and I was sitting out there in my comfy capris and my shoes and a tank top, knitting, listening to my podcasts in the car. It was beautiful. So
that sounds lovely.
The coffee shop did its last pre-finished wander, and now it gets to go out and be cool threads instead of something I'm working on in Yarn on the Go. Again, using the Stash to Go app to keep track of my rows and my counts and stuff. So, and do random searches of Ravelry because why not? I need more patterns, right?
Always.
Always.
To keep inspiration.
Sure.
Inspirational patterns.
I feel like my pattern list is going to be as big as my partner's make work projects for modeling, and we will never be allowed to die because we will never be done this to-do list.
You can die when you run out of things to knit?
Yeah, I can die when I run out of things to knit, and the way I'm going, it's never going to happen.
Alright, immortality right there.
Bingo.
Hashtag life secrets.
Hashtag life secrets. Where did your yarn go this week?
On Friday, my mum came with me and took me down to the Assiniboine Conservatory to drop off a contract and a check so that I have officially booked my wedding venue for next August.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Now do everything else.
I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about the shawl right now.
That works.
But while we were there, they had redone their plant space. So for people who are not familiar with the Assiniboine Conservatory, it is basically 2 large greenhouses. One that looks like some variation of a fairy garden, and another that they call the Palm House because it's basically a jungle with like banana trees and vanilla vines, and they currently have a little hobbit diorama set up, which is super cute.
Sounds adorable.
And there's like a turtle pond and a fish pond and a little bridge over the fish pond.
All the romantic spots for photos.
Oh yes, it's super good for photos. So in fact, I took some photos.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are up on Instagram,
yeah.
either on Northern Knits Podcast or Firewater and Fiber. Fiber spelled E-R. Yeah. Because I was really proud of those pictures, because there was this one particular vine that was just coming down and curving around at about head height, and I'm like, it's gonna have a sock! Click!
It's gonna have a sock.
I really like that picture. It's super brightly colored, and
it's a good photo.
I really like that picture. The other thing about yarn going places, I discovered that I am capable of walking and knitting a sock.
What?
So when I've been walking places this week, I've been knitting a sock.
Walk and chew gum at the same time. I'll trip over myself.
So I have a feeling that I'm going to become, between that and wearing all my knits while longboarding, I'm going to become that crazy yarn lady in Osborne.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
I'm gonna be that person.
We already attract attention because of my mobility assistance cane when we go out, so it'll be nice not to be the one person that everyone's staring at for a while.
They'll be staring at me doing weird things with sticks and string.
Yep. Yeah, I'm okay with this.
And that's where our yarn's been going.
Woohoo! Which leaves us with some theoretical spinning.
I have theoretical spinning in that I finally got my spinning wheel in the mail.
That is so awesome.
It arrived on yesterday. And
Instead of randomly being somewhere in Canada?
Instead of being generically in Canada, or just through customs and in Montreal, it is now in my living room, in a box. It is not here. I haven't played with it yet. I got as far as unpacking it and looking at all the stuff. And then today I looked up a whole bunch of details so I can tell all our wonderful listeners about the
please.
Electric Eel Wheel 5.
You backed it on Kickstarter?
Yes, I backed it on Kickstarter sometime last year. It is... Let me get my notes here. Whew, that's a lovely, seriously annoyed grape.
Which we will describe about in advance.
We'll talk about seriously annoyed grapes.
Mm-hmm.
No, really seriously annoyed grapes.
Oh yeah, super seriously annoyed grapes.
Okay. So this is the Electric Eel Wheel 5, designed by Maurice Ribble. Available for order at dreamingrobots.com for $250. But I backed it on Kickstarter for, I don't remember how much, but less than that. Last year, just last summer actually, I backed that on Kickstarter, and it came already, which is probably the fastest turnaround for a Kickstarter I've ever had. So I unpacked the thing last night. It is primarily laser cut bamboo veneer, with injection molded bobbins and other plastic hooky bits that I don't know the proper names for because I'm only just learning about spinning. And it came with 3 bobbins total, a whole bunch of extra tools, extra drive band, etc. A no-slip mat, a foot pedal, and a car adapter, because apparently it's important to be able to spin in your car. Which I am really confused about. I don't know why I would want to be spinning in my car, but there you go, I can do it if the need should ever arise.
Or you have a car.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm super excited about that, and I'm probably gonna play with that tonight with some of the fiber I got from last year's Manitoba Fiber Festival. Something about Jupiter colorway, I don't remember. You can probably edit this bit out.
With the Jupiter colorway, I don't remember.
Something about Jupiter from Hillary's Magical Yarn Emporium.
There's a place called Hillary's Magical Yarn Emporium?
Yeah, she's a local dyer.
That's hilarious. I need to go investigate that.
Yeah, I have fiber from her and some 2 skeins of yarn from her that I've had for like 2 years now. One of which I know it wants to be a hat with a vaguely dragon scale pattern because the colorway is called Mother of Dragons and it's a cashmere wool blend.
And in which case, yes.
So
yes,
it needs to go next to my face, and it's like it fades from purple to white.
Oh my god, that'd be so pretty.
Yeah, so
Being my 2 favorite colors, purple and white.
I think I want it to start white at the brim and then fade to the darker purple.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I think I want to do some kind of stitch pattern that looks like dragon scales.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm super off topic.
Yeah, so that was my theoretical spinning. It will theoretically happen this week, and then I will have non-theoretical spinning next week, probably.
I think it's amazing that your spinning wheel is here, because we've been waiting on it for a while. It's been randomly in Canada for a while, so it didn't get held up at the...
for like 2 weeks.
Didn't get held up at the border for 2 months?
Yes, apparently my spinning wheel is less dangerous than your yarn.
Just blows my mind, but alright.
My thing with motors and screws and hooks and things
Yep.
is less dangerous than your pretty string.
But my yarn and beads are definitely something that the government of Canada is worried about.
Oh, yes.
Alright. What do I know? I don't have any theoretical spinning.
Do you have any fiber flubs?
You know what? You'd think I'd have fiber flubs, but outside of one finishing detail problem, which was just me not paying attention to my yarn, I am fiber flub free.
Ooh, but you
I
can't say that
know.
5 times fast.
No, probably not. But I hear you have some fiber flubs.
Just one flub.
Okay.
One of my 365 squares that I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
I was all proud of myself because I was just finishing up the last row, and I'm like, wait, this row doesn't seem right. Look at the previous row. Good grief, I forgot to do 4 stitches on the previous round, and I'm on the last side of the last round, and so I was just so unimpressed. I put it in timeout for that night, and then I fixed it the next morning. Missed 4 stitches. Ah! Ah!
Mmm.
That is my
Apology
flub.
tea. Now we're on to the super big important section for us. Events. Do we want to talk about where we were or where we're going?
Let's start with where we were.
Ooh. So this past Wednesday, we went to the local yarn shop, Woolsley Wool, and we went to their yarn tasting / trunk show, which was fantastic. They had recently moved to a new location, so I don't think they've been in that new location for even a year yet. I think they're still really new into that location.
Yeah, I think it's been more than 6 months, but less than a year, I think.
Less than a year, I think, because I think they moved in the summer last year.
I think so.
Yeah. So, I love their new space. It's nice, it's wide, it's open. I can see, so I can move around without using my cane, which is any place where I don't have to use my mobility cane to see where I'm going, I am super excited about. So, all the light. And
I just don't like that weird little step by the front door where they have all the signs about watch your step. I trip on it basically every time.
Yeah, well, it's because you're too busy reading the signs. I just memorized there's a step there. Okay. I got some nice couches set up so we can take the little midget and she just sits and plays on her video games when she's not trying to add stuff to my to-do list. And it's a nice group of ladies, and I like the store. It is one of my favorite yarn stores. The other, well, mind you, we only have 2. I haven't been to the other one yet, so.
They also super recently changed locations, so they're not on Portage anymore.
Huh, well.
They're up on Ellis near Polo Park now.
Well, we will have to go there.
That's where I bought my wedding shawl yarn, which is why I know this.
I haven't been there, and I would like to go, so in my mind, that's reason. But no, we went for, it was a Mino trunk show. It's a German yarn.
Oh, I don't remember.
We had a lot of information thrown in our heads, and we tasted a lot of different types of yarn.
I forgot to actually, put some yarn in my mouth.
I'm okay with the fact you didn't actually try to taste the yarn. I think that's
I wanted a picture of me literally tasting the yarn, but it didn't happen because we were passing the yarn around, and I figured people wouldn't like that.
Probably not so much. We had 8 people per table, and each person had at least one sample of yarn in front of them that you were supposed to knit with. They gave you needles and everything, so you got to just do some basic knitting and see if you liked the yarn or not. So we started off at the luxury table. There were 3 tables set up. So we had 3 different spots where we got a brief overview of the yarn we were looking at. Samples and finished projects and stuff were made available for us to touch and feel and talk and comment about. I think we picked a really good group. I picked the group with all the wonderful mature women so that we could not be super worried about strange things and being super socially, appropriate. We could just relax and have fun. Those are my favorite type of people. Ones that are just actually out of their 20s and comfortable with who they are and what's going on, and they just...
Yeah, I think that besides us, I think the next youngest lady was probably not younger than 50-something.
Yep, and that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for, because they know who they are, and they're like me. They know what they like, what they don't like, and they're comfortable with giving their opinions. And it's not harsh opinions or criticizing, it's just that's how they do things, so that's fine. I had the one lady, Karen, who kept dropping that double-pointed needle.
She was dropping all the needles.
Oh yeah, she's not having a good go of it.
She was dropping straight needles that weren't even double-pointed at another table.
Oh, poor Karen. But I had a lot of fun. For me, it was a big event. It was about 2 hours we were there. So for me, it was a long time to be out and about, but I really enjoyed going, so I'm glad we got to go. I am currently actually winding yarn I bought. While I didn't test this yarn specifically, I was playing around with some of the other brands, I get types, I guess, from the brand. So I was very excited. We got to look at hedgehog fibers. We got to look at the ancient yarns fibers. We even got to try different types of needles. So I got to try the Addie Ease needles, which I've wanted to do for a while. We tried the Cubics needles.
I was excited about the cubics and the carbons I got to try.
Oh yeah, the carbons looked nice.
I like the feel of the carbons, but the ends are not as pointy as I would like, I think.
The ends weren't as pointy as the Nova Vistas that I have.
So they've got stubbier ends. They're not as long of a taper, so...
Yeah.
Which I'm really sad about, because I otherwise really like them, because the carbon bit is nice and grippy like wood, but the tips are nickel-plated, so they're really slippy, so you can go really fast.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the taper that I like, and that really bothered me. The cubics, on the other hand, I really like.
The cubics, I believe, were tempting. You were eyeballing them for a while.
I really was. The only thing that stopped me was they only had double points in the store, and I prefer circular. I also have 2 sets of wooden interchangeable needles. So.
Of course, I'm a professional enabler, and I just went, yeah, no, if you like them, go ahead and get them. I am really bad to ask a question if you want to hear the answer no, because my justification is very much, do you enjoy it? Then that's what you need to do. So I am the wrong person to ask.
Super enabler.
I was super tempted by the hedgehog fibers. They had a bunch that we were looking at, which was the mohair and alpaca.
It was mohair and something. I don't even remember.
It was their kids lace, kid silk.
Something
the hedgehog fibers kid silk stuff that I was just like, oh.
It was quite nice.
It is so pretty. And I got to play around with some linen blends, which I haven't had a chance to do before.
I really liked the linen silk blend. Was that an Ancient Arts?
I don't think it was Ancient Arts. It was another one. It was, we'd actually have to go back to the store. I would recognize the label if I saw it again. But yeah, no, I liked the linen silk blend versus the linen anything else blend. So, of course, I like the expensive blended linen. Yeah. Of course I do.
The fingering weight too, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the nice dark color.
In the nice dark color that I wouldn't be able to see. So that sounds perfect. Let's do that. After the yarn tasting, the store was open, so there was an amazing array of food available, and all the hosts were wonderful and very knowledgeable.
I don't know who was catering that. That was the fanciest food I've ever had.
It was beautiful.
I don't even know what I was eating. It was like a thin slice of something with a little bit of, I think, roast beef with some kind of mango chutney with some alfalfa sprouts on top, and I think I'm forgetting something.
That's fine. It looked amazing, and it looked really tasty.
It really was. Everything was delicious and so pretty.
Yep. No, I'm totally with you on that one. I liked how they had samples and patterns available, so you could see what it was other people had done on the works, and you could see the completed projects. So it gave you a really good idea for drape, for the fabrics and stuff, for the yarn itself. I loved that. What was it? What's 8 times 3?
24.
So we tried a minimum of 24 yarns, and we definitely had extras at each table. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with probably over 30 yarns all told by the time we were done
what
the
was
end of
that
the night.
amazing soft yarn at the last table?
That was the something silk.
It was silk and.
Anyway.
It was like silk and cashmere or something ridiculous.
It felt like butter.
It was like. It was so amazing. It took everything I had not to rub it on my face.
I remember that. Summer silk.
Summer silk, that was it.
Summer silk. Yeah,
I'll have to link to that. That is
a really nice yarn.
It was really expensive, as I recall.
Yep. And I believe my response was, take my money.
Yes, it's gorgeous. We managed not to buy any.
That's because I really wanted to find something because I'm really, really, really in a shawl stage right now, if you haven't noticed. And all I really want to do is knit shawls. Having said that, I cast it on a swatch for a cardigan, but I really want to knit shawls. So
It's a good season for shawls.
It is. So I was looking around figuring, I got a lot of worsted weight shawls on the go. I should get a fingering weight shawl on the go. But I needed the right kind of yarn. And well, Woolmeisters. What's that German brand I keep looking at?
Oh, Woolmeisa.
Woolmeisa. I keep looking at that, but let's be honest, I'll buy a sweater's weight worth of that stuff one day, and I'll spend forever knitting that.
You have fun with that. That is expensive.
Not that much different from buying it at any sort of other price point level. I would buy one of the big skeins, and then it's like $70 for the big skein, which is 1,700 yards. Yeah, it's 1,722
That's
yards.
true. They are very large.
And then
skeins.
I would just need to buy one more additional skein because the regular size ones are like 400 yards.
Yeah.
So I would have to just buy technically two. It'd still be over $100, but that's not too bad in a fingering weight for me. Noted that if I was shorter, I wouldn't need quite so much yardage, but that's not an option. So.
But still, those big skeins are like $85.
Yep, it's gonna not be super nice to my wallet that day, but I'll do it because I wanna, and I really like it, and it'll be a wonderful summer cardigan. Mind you, if I did it as a summer cardigan, I could do 3/4 sleeves, and the 1722 would probably be fine, and it'd probably be an entire cardigan's worth of stuff for me anyway, but I'd buy the extra skein because I'd rather be safe than sorry.
You could even get like a contrasting solid color of a similar weight.
Oh, yeah.
But
I could totally do that too, couldn't I?
because they come in like super bright colors, so maybe
Something
might be a lot for an entire sweater, but if you had like contrasting cuffs and edgings or something.
Yeah, that's what, like
Tone it down
a nice
slightly.
cuff and a neutral color would be really pretty. That's doable. I, of course, also like the super expensive, fluffy alpaca yarn that I started out the night with from Brazil. Apu? Super. I just my brain the entire time I was thinking.
Was that the green?
It wasn't the green one. It was the beige. Yeah, was it beige I had first? It was the beige ones I had first because it was I first passed to you, and then you remembered that I'm a mirror knitter.
Yes. Right. Okay,
Poor
so
people.
in order to keep garter stitching, I need to purl through the back loop.
Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Nobody else cared.
Well, no, not after I was done with it, because they didn't have to purl through the back loop anymore.
So, that one's $45 for 50 grams?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, 50 or 60 grams. Anyway, it's
that whole table was lovely. I really liked
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was the Brazilian yarn that was the luxury super high end yarn where it was just of course I love everything at this table.
The purple stuff I started out, it was a fingering weight, tonal dark purple. It was silk alpaca, I think.
Oh, nice.
I would have preferred that one to be on wooden needles. It was on Nova Platinas or something.
Okay.
Or lace. It was on metal ones, and it was super slippy.
That's fair.
Because alpaca is just super slippy. So I would have
absolutely.
preferred that one. But I feel like my hands really wanted that one to be on a set of wooden cubics. That would have been freaking amazing. Just the hand feel of that.
Oh, absolutely, especially because you like a little bit of stick to yours. So, we did, however, buy yarn. You bought the yarn for your distinction shawl.
Yes.
I wasn't going to buy yarn. I was just going to buy more needles because I needed to pick up needles for the knit along that starts here next week. But I ended up buying some yarn, which I'm currently winding while we podcast. Ancient Arts is a yarn company out of Calgary, if I remember correctly. It's just Canadian. And I really love the colorways, but I wasn't really reading the titles. Then I started reading the titles, and then I went, I have to buy all the yarn. I picked up some, it's a wonderful purple to, what would you say, blue-green colorway?
I'd call it all purple, but it's from like a light lavender down to an indigo, almost blue.
Black, yeah, so that's where I'm picking up the blues.
I think there is some black in there. Anyway,
a
wide range of purple. It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful striped yarn here that I've been winding, but it is called Really Seriously Annoyed Grapes. I love the title.
They have great names for their yarn. I love the Ancient Arts yarn. I
almost picked up the one that was yet another fruit color. There's just so when people are like, oh, what's this shawl made of? Oh, it's my ancient yarn. It's Really Seriously Annoyed Grapes yarn.
I don't care what the name of the pattern is that you're making out of this. It's the Really Seriously Annoyed Grapes
shawl. That's what's going to be made out of it. And I have found a shawl pattern I think I'm going to make out of it. So hence the winding, because I need to swatch it. Because I want to make sure that it's done nicely and that it's at the right size for me. So I picked up 2 balls, so I have over 700 yards of fingering weight yarn. So that's more than enough to make a shawl for me. And we will cast on 50 million projects this week.
Yeah.
But that was where we were. Where are we going?
Where are we going? Well, in chronological order, as of May 1st, we are starting the Red Heart Knit Along with the Textured Triangle Shawl by Marley Bird.
Yeah, she's hosting.
So I still need to go buy some yarn for that. I believe we're doing that tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, after we've all gone to junior high again.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Because of my visual impairment, one of my girlfriends who's a teacher has been teaching her kids about disabilities specifically related to vision loss and blindness. So I am going to go talk to her students about what it's like to live life as a visually impaired person, which was kind of interesting. For some, for me, it's just my life, so we will see how it goes. It'll be my first time talking to kids about it, so hopefully it goes well. And I will, of course, be taking my knitting with me because I'm talking to 2 classes and I should have some downtime between knitting downtime between knitting. English, Jocelyn! Downtime between classes to get some knitting done. Diana kindly offered to accompany me, so I have somebody helping me just in case it's a bit too far and a bit too much for my body. So we're doing that, which should be fun.
Stash Dash. I think I might have an end date for Stash Dash. I was listening to the Knit Girls this morning, and they were talking about, I think...
Me too!
August 15th is an end date, but
Yes.
May 26th is the start date for sure.
Yes.
End date, maybe August 15th, somewhere in there.
Well, she said she might round it out to the 20th.
Depending on Olympics, maybe?
Um,
Something like that?
So people who do their stuff on the weekends would have a chance to wrap up their stuff during the week. So that makes complete sense to me. There were some proposed changes. I haven't voted on a proposed change.
Having never participated, I feel unqualified to vote on any changes.
Roughly is kind of my thinking on it. It's like I don't... Since in the end, she's right, you're only competing against yourself. And it's... the ladies from the Knit Girls are amazing, and they are a wonderful video podcast. You should watch them if you don't. And I really like the idea of my goal is just to decrease the stash I have. Work on completing projects and using that marker as a goal to see how I'm increasing and improving as a knitter personally. So I'm not super worried about competing with anybody else or for anything. I'll certainly post pictures and stuff. Like, I'm not going to officially compete and try to take prizing away from anybody because it doesn't mean as much to me. Like, if I want something, I'll go buy it.
I'm going to, since I'm going for a lower, I'm going for the 3K goal, not an ambitious 5K goal.
Yeah, why not? Go big or go home.
Anyway, with my less ambitious 3K goal, I'm going to say that with the exception of the yarn I need for the knit-along that I'm buying tomorrow, I am not going to buy any more yarn until the Manitoba Fiber Festival in September.
I will make no such lieful promises because I know me. I can't help myself. But my goal is to diminish my stash, so...
I will buy yarn tomorrow. I think I need another large ball for my squares.
Yep. I don't think we should count the squares as buying for a yarn because we buy that as we need it to continue to work on the project during the year. Not technically, it's not going into stash, it's going right into an active project.
That's true. Anyway, no more yarn, with the exception after tomorrow.
Okay.
No more yarn until the Manitoba Fiber Festival in September.
Okay.
I might buy beads if I come across some really great beads for my wedding shawl.
That's fine.
But that's not happening till after I find a dress. So that I can match colors or style or match something to the dress.
Okay, that makes sense. And we're not doing dress shopping till what, June anyway?
Not till June at the earliest.
Okay, so yeah, we have time. What else are we doing this year as I yawn? Ooh, apparently I needed a coffee.
Apparently. We are doing Worldwide Knit in Public Day on June 10th.
Yep. Talked to some of the girls in the knit club. Those who are available to participate that day for sure, or even if they're not for sure, are game for the whole just go randomly and knit places.
I like knitting in random places. As I've mentioned, I walk random places while knitting.
You do now.
So I do lots of knitting in public, but it'll be nice to be looked at less weirdly.
It's the official day, yeah. I don't know if any of the local places in town are going to do anything yet. If they are planning, they haven't made anything public yet, which is totally fine. I'll keep my eyes out for that on the local social medias and hop on there because that's always a good deal of fun too, so. I know we're also going to be doing the conventions this summer. We've got ICON, you're going to DEF CON, and we have C4 at the end of October.
Yes.
Technically, nothing to do with knitting, but we're going to be taking our knitting there and hoping to hook people on knitting. That makes me sound like a bad person. I'm not. I'm going to get everybody hooked on knitting.
It's a good thing to take to do to decompress for half an hour at a con.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because there can be a lot of people, a lot of movement, a lot of stuff going on, so it's not for everybody to be quite that active all that time.
And then there's the aforementioned Manitoba Fiber Festival on September 15th and 16th, I believe.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
And that's at the Assiniboia Downs exhibition.
No,
It's not. It's not in the actual Assiniboia Downs like horse racing gambling place. It's in the barn thing that's.
Ooh, you're descriptive.
Yeah. It's in the barn thing. It's not in the stadium bit, it's in the barn thing next to the stadium bit.
I was doing a lot more of the reading for it, and they're inviting everybody to bring their spinning and their knitting and stuff down, so I'm super excited by that. So I'm gonna take some knitting with me and go, mostly because if I'm spinning, that's I can only focus on that, whereas if I'm knitting, I can sometimes look up and interact with other people, and that's one of those. People think I'm not paying attention because I'm not looking at them deals where it's, no, I can really only focus on one thing at a time deals. So, but I'm really looking forward to getting to meet some of the hand dyers and stuff and check out pretty new yarn colorways.
So
That's going to be
pretty.
another painful day for my wallet.
Meet some alpacas, pet some bunnies.
It's after Stash Dash, so technically we're building for next Stash Dash at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, that works for me. I think that is it for events, so it only leaves the book review.
Book review.
Woohoo! So this week we pulled out of my book library collection, the personal one, and we grabbed
Faith, Hope, Love, Knitting by Lorna Meisner, founder of Lorna's Laces, celebrating the gift of knitting with 24 beautiful patterns. It retails for $24.95 US and $27.95 Canadian.
which, that's pretty average for a hardcover book.
I like that there's not a massive discrepancy between the two countries' pricings.
I always appreciate it when the Canadian and American pricing is close. Yes, it always brings a smile to my face. Our dollar is not that bad. So I appreciate...
Kind of tanking at the moment, but whenever this book came out, it was not tanking.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. What did you think about the book overall?
Overall, I think it is a very pretty book. It had a sort of a chicken soup for the soul kind of feel to it with the little stories.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like a cozy, feel-good kind of a knitting book.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the reasons why I picked it up, is that it's one of those, yeah.
It's got, it doesn't have lifestyle shots. It has knitwear shots.
I'm so excited when it's knitwear shots. I love a good lifestyle shot. I am an Instagrammer. I do take them lifestyle shots. But in the case of looking at patterns and specifically being able to see a piece of work when it's completed, if that's the focus, I really like knitwear shots. I like being able to see the knitting itself and what's going on. So I have a tendency to pick books that are very clearly pictured well. As is my preference.
It's a very nice feeling book. It feels nice. And you read it and then you feel nice. And you look at the pictures and they're nice. It's a whole lot of nice.
It's comforting. You're like, I can do those things.
Pattern-wise, what did you think?
Well, there was a couple that I liked, obviously, enough that I bought the book. So, that's always a bonus.
Helps if you turn your notes the right side up.
Why would I want my notes right side up? I really enjoyed, obviously, the shawls, but I think that's because I'm in a shawl place again, as usual. I liked the Grandma's lace shawl.
That one was alright.
And the Shane's cable and lace vest. I don't know why I liked that cable and lace vest.
Me
but
too.
I really I was like,
I hearted that one.
I would have to do some serious math to make it flattering on my body typing.
Yes.
Being of a significantly smaller size of my waistline than of my bust line. But I kind of really want to make it. It's so pretty.
It really is. I don't like
girly
vests,
and not...
but
Well, it's not bulky is the thing, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be adding and making me as wide as a Michelin Man. So I'm not...
It's really pretty and feminine, and it's a vest, but it's really nice.
I know! I don't know why, but it's super tempting. I also really wanted to make the heart pillow. I still really want to make the heart pillow. I like the heart pillow.
I'm not so into the home goods knitting a bit with beyond dishcloth. I don't know. I'm not in a place where I like that. For me personally.
I really think it would make a really nice head pillow on a couch.
Yeah.
Or as a decoration, I make all sorts of home stuff. So not all the time, but yeah, the heart pillow. And I was just like, I need to make that. That needs to happen. I like the charts and picture. Charts are quite clear too, which is good.
Another thing that I liked was specifically the accenting on the Southwestern Motif sweater. I
Oh.
liked the Southwestern Motif. I was kind of meh about the rest of the sweater, but I really liked the Southwestern Motif.
Cute.
I don't even know how this is done, because it looks like it's kind of 2 layers with some striping, or I have no idea how this works.
Might suggest reading the pattern.
Yes. Well, I also don't want to give away the secret sauce to the pattern.
That's totally true.
So I didn't read how it works. But
totally
it looks really cool.
I liked it. I keep thinking perhaps not for me, but for my niece. It's not something that I would specifically probably enjoy wearing, given where it would hit my body, and being very conscious of that. But no, it wasn't a bad pattern. I of course really loved the lap throws, because I also like to knit throws. I don't know why I feel I need 50 million, but I feel I do. So I enjoyed the memory lap throw.
Yeah.
And the square a day blanket.
I did kind of like the square a day blanket.
I really like the square a day blanket. I can't, because I need another project where I'm doing a square a day, but you know what I mean.
It is. It comes out to make a nice looking blanket. Just
It does.
mitered squares.
I know it's nothing super fancy, but it just looks really good in a blanket. Of course, the men's heavenly cable sweater.
Because cables.
Because cables, and I happen to have a partner who looks really good in cables, so this is not a problem for me to want to torture him by making him wear more knitwear that I have made for him. Because he will feel obliged to wear it whether he likes it or not. I, of course, let him pick his colors and let him have a final decision on whether or not I'm making something. I give him full voice and authority on it, but he would look really good in that sweater, so I'm kind of like, might propose it alongside some sweaters I know he'll definitely reject, so he picks that one. Stacking the deck in my favor, as we were. And I also really enjoyed the fingerless mitt pattern.
Because fingerless mitts.
It's called the Helping Hands mitts. Which was just really nice. And you honestly cannot have enough mitts in this province. As Diana flips to the page.
Ah, yes. Helping Hands mittens. Which are different from the Helping Hands fingerless ones that you're currently making? Or is it these ones?
No, I'm making different ones. But that was, for me, those are the ones I liked, so for me it was worthwhile picking up the book, so I did.
Yeah, for me I was kind of meh about most of the patterns, but each of the patterns is preceded by a personal story that explains why this pattern, why these colors, why it's significant. And this is kind of more where the chicken soup for the soul comes in, because it's these really nice feel-good stories and then how they relate to this knitting project on the next page. And I really like that aspect of it.
Re-emphasizes that we aren't machines and that there's stories behind our knits.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing it for a purpose and a reason, not just in addition to the fact that we just enjoy to knit.
Well, what did you think of the homemade needles part?
Oh, jeez.
I thought those were really cute.
I was like, oh my god, I can see myself doing it as a gag gift for, Miss D from the Funky Fibers giving her some handmade knitting needles. She would find that terribly cute and amusing. It would go in her crafting room, I suspect.
I think so, probably.
As a gift thing, absolutely. As a using thing, probably not so much.
I feel like wooden dowels would need some serious sanding and lacquering to be useful.
Oh yeah, whereas I'm like, that's an effort versus cost ratio for me, and I would rather just buy some knitting needles. I will admit to my own laziness. I have no problems with this. But no, I obviously like the book. I bought it.
Clearly.
So, we know where my view is on it. If the patterns and the stories don't catch you, then obviously it's not for you, but if you like that sort of nice giftware aspect to it.
Oh, yes. I wanted to mention the appendix.
Sure.
This book does not cover techniques. It is not a learn to knit book. That said, there are beginner-friendly patterns in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the appendix is really solid, full of measurement conversions and the needle size conversions and abbreviations that crop up in the patterns and other knitting book resources. And so it's a solid appendix, but there are no techniques.
Which is fine, because even as a non-beginning knitter, you're still occasionally going to go, what does that abbreviation mean? And I know how to math, I swear. That happens to all of us, whether we're new or not.
Yeah.
I
8mm needle, is that that's
What?
a size what in US? Oh, no, wait, it's a UK pattern. Oh,
Quick, go in reverse.
poo. Yeah.
So, no, I definitely, I thought the appendix was a big bonus for it, because I'm at the stage where I don't need to be taught how to knit and purl, or cast on and cast off, but having somewhere where it's like, what is SSK again? Because I just, for whatever reason, have randomly forgotten. I've got a place I can go quickly look it up, which is awesome. So that's our book review, which is nice and short and to the point, and as promised, about knitting. I know we did a spinning book, but whatever, it's fine. It's all fibercraft. We love it anyway. So when Diana, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook as Northern Knits Podcast. And you can find our show notes on our blog at northernknitspodcast.com.
I promise you we are getting better with checking our social media stuff. We're really good at checking our personal social media stuff.
We should mention where we can be found on social media, our personal accounts.
Absolutely. You can find me most places as Amber Dragon, Amber, and then Dragun. Sometimes with a 1, sometimes without a 1. Theoretically, everything's cross-linked properly. On Ravelry, I'm Amber Dragon 1. On Twitter, I'm Amber Dragon 1. On Tumblr and everything else, it feels like Instagram, I'm Amber Dragon. Short of a Flickr account. I think it's the only thing I don't have, and according to the plans for my sibling's wedding, I might shortly have one, so everyone's got a place to post the photos. So, okay.
I can be found on Ravelry as Woolrat, that is wool-rat, and I have a Twitch channel at Firewater and Fiber, that is also my Instagram handle. I think I'm going to do a virtual knit group on Friday afternoon, maybe?
I would be game for that.
You wanna come moderate my chat?
Absolutely.
And by moderate, I mean hang out in so that I'm not talking to myself.
I'd love to. I'll be at home Friday afternoon knitting, so hey, why not? I can put Twitch on my TV.
Yeah, so if we actually get this episode out on Thursday, then people can know about Friday afternoon knit group.
Sure, why not? We'll do a virtual knit group. That'll be fun. We're easily linked through our Ravelry group, so please feel free to come join us on the Ravelry group. That would be amazing.
Yes.
Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, theories, random patterns. Once I know you like random postings of patterns, can I randomly post patterns as my knit group's Facebook page demonstrates? I'm really good at doing that. What do you guys think of this? 50 times a day sometimes. Some days I'm bored.
Shall we wrap it up?
Sure. So, until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
Saying no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.
I have a lot of overall opinions of the book.
Look how good the mint is going right now.
I'm
It's really tall.
really glad your mint is growing well. We're definitely going to have to give them new pots, though, and repot it, because
That's true.
it needs some more soil.
Yeah. That and the bottom of it is... Well, I think they're going into each other's things, so the roots are going to get mixed.
Yeah, we need to pull them apart so we can give them some more space to grow. I suspect my other dinosaur's coming out of that window well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, must love you. I'm giving up my dinosaur window well space.